Good morning and happy Saturday, you guys. It is Amanda and Barron with Kicking Cancer Cares on KSLM Radio, 104.3 FM and 1220 AM. Our sponsor of this first half is Oddmo's Pizza, and they are amazing. So everybody already knows my favorite because I rant and rave over it every single week, the Green Monster, in case anybody wasn't listening. What's your favorite?
I really like the Reggie Veggie, which is a nice shift from that one. But the Reggie Veggie is a great pizza. I also love their wings. One thing I love their wings is that a lot of times when you get wings, there's like not a lot of meat on them. These are nice, really full meat. Several times we've had board beans, and we've actually had their salads at our board beans too.
Okay.
So there really is a ton of good food at Oddmo's Pizza.
What's funny is the two pizzas that we picked were the ones that don't have meat on them.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I used to, when I was younger, I did not like vegetables very much. And as I get older, I love vegetables. I prefer it. It's my favorite part of my meal. And it's just funny how we both have vegetable-based
Well, one of the great things
pizzas.
about Oddmo's is that there's actually some stuff on top of the pizza. A lot of times you just don't get a lot of stuff on top of the pizza. For the price, you get a really good pizza.
Very good pizza.
So, well, last week we had Cindy Miracle here talking about oils and essential oils. What was your big takeaway from that discussion?
I've always had an interest in essential oils, their benefits and all that they have to offer. I'm a true believer in them and their healing properties. And she talked about a lot of different ones, like the sunblock one, and just different things on how you can use them. And so just wanting to play and explore more with essential oils instead of other things like sunblock, for example.
Well, we'll introduce our guest here. Riki is on our board of directors and does oils as well. So I'm sure that Riki has tons of thoughts and comments on the values of essential oils.
Oh, yes. You can't go wrong with them. They're just a wonder addition to any type of healthcare regime that you want to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
We were having a great discussion about sunblock and how, really, I don't think the skin cancer rates weren't as bad until we actually started using sunblock. But if someone does want to protect themselves from the sun, there are some oils that would help with that, isn't there, Riki?
That's correct.
Okay. Can you refresh me on what those are?
Off the top of my head, helichrysum lavender, those two are key ingredients in any type of sunblock because they have an SPF count. But you want to also make sure you have the nano blend of the zinc.
Okay.
So you can make your own. There's some great recipes out there. I have one that I like that I make for my family.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So essential oils are a really good option to everything else that you've been doing with your life.
Yes, yes.
Well, I think Riki knows we've been going through this magazine, 100 Disease-Fighting Foods. This week's food is sweet potatoes.
I love sweet potatoes.
Oh, so do I.
Sweet potatoes.
You like sweet potatoes from our second guest, too.
Yes. And I included in my dog's food as well.
The sweet potatoes?
Oh, they love them.
They do.
Well, what the magazine says is these tasty root vegetables are nutritious superstars loaded with phytonutrients, including carotenoids. Carotenoids are associated with reduced risk of cardiovascular disease and some cancers. Sweet potatoes also are a good gut food with soluble and insoluble fiber, so good fiber for you.
Okay.
And much less starch than your typical potatoes. Exactly. So add sweet potatoes to your list of things to eat.
Yes.
So, and I did want to bring you an update. Later this month is the Dragon Boat race this year. Ashley's on our team. Mike Sublet's going to have someone from on the team from Oddmo's. Okay. And so we are still looking for a few more paddlers. Okay. If you'd like to be part of our team, let us know. Just email me, execdir@kickin-cancer.org. Okay. And let us know you'd like to join the team. And then go on and actually pledge one of our paddlers.
Okay, perfect.
We have plenty of paddlers out there that you can pledge for. So
absolutely.
And if you're watching or listening and you want to just see this podcast, go to YouTube, go find Kicking Cancer Productions, hit like, subscribe, add to our list of people that are listening.
Yes.
So I did want to bring Riki back. Riki's been here before. We've talked about oils with Riki before, but Riki, you kind of have a whole practice that you're doing with clients. You've added something to that practice, haven't you?
Oh, I have. It really came to me after working with the essential oils for around 10 years that I needed to add more. And what I went and did is got my Reiki Master certification. It took me over a year because you have to practice the Reiki 1 and 2 before they will accept you into the level 3 and Master Teacher component, because you have to show that you're using the Reiki, which you can do every day. And because it's still working with our bodies in a healthy, non-invasive way, as the essential oils, it was just the perfect combination for me.
Okay.
So how much do you know about Reiki?
Nothing.
Nothing. So I'm going to let Riki educate you a little bit on what Reiki is as a practice.
Oh, and just so you know, I didn't know anything about it either.
Okay.
It was just my massage therapist that said, you be good at Reiki, because I had been a teacher for 26 years, and so the teaching aspect of it just kind of fell in naturally.
Yeah.
So Reiki is a Japanese energy healing technique, and it supports balance and healing in your mind, in your body, and in your spirit. And it involves facilitating or channeling this universal life energy that we know is all around us. And we do it through our hands. And the hands will help clear the energetic blockages that our body tends to hang on to. Because our emotions sometimes don't leave us. And we tend to store them in our organs. And so what Reiki does, it just comes in and it's gentle. And I specifically use the Usui Holy Fire Reiki. And this is a more recent evolution of the original traditional Reiki system. It still honors that foundational teaching, and it works at a higher frequency, which is what I really like.
Okay.
And I really want to stress this to people. Reiki is not a religion.
Okay.
There's a myth about that. It's not connected to any belief system. It can be practiced by anyone. It can be received by anyone, whether they're spiritual, whether they're religious, or even secular, because it works with who you are.
Yeah.
And what your energy is, your intentions, and then your own healing journey.
Okay.
Now you can see why I like it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's for everybody.
Well, it is for everybody. And I think one of the great things you get to do is some of the benefits. So I know that Riki had sent me a list of some of the 10 benefits that you can get from Reiki. One of them is relaxation. You want to elaborate a little bit on the relaxation part of it?
So being part of Kicking Cancer, we have our pillars that we really want people to recognize. And one of the key ones is rest. And so by using Reiki and by me giving someone a Reiki session, they're able to go into a deeper relaxation. And I like doing it evening, and you can go to sleep. And you will have a more restful sleep. So getting enough sleep, that 8 hours, is really important.
Mm-hmm. How long does it take for one session?
It depends on the individual. If they're just focusing on one particular aspect of it, I try to give them a good 20 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
Is this something you could do for yourself? Could you give yourself Reiki?
And that's what's great. Yes. So Reiki 1 is learning how to give it to yourself. And we can talk a little bit more about that a little bit later in the program.
Okay. Perfect. What are some of the other benefits?
Well, another one I had listed was to relieve stress and anxiety.
So that's the next one. Because if we don't reduce the stress that we're putting on our organs and in our system, it creates that dis-ease that we have within our organs and our system, and we end up with something that's chronic. Mm-hmm. Well, Reiki can go in and help clear those blockages. Again, it's your intent, because Reiki's going to do what Reiki feels it needs to do. I don't have any control over that.
Okay. And I see on here where it says increased self-awareness, which I feel like that's a big one. Just to be self-aware of whatever's going on. Is that kind of...
So that's like when you start involving your intuition more into, you kind of go, oh, my heart's kind of palpitating. Oh, I have an ache. And so by being more body aware and connecting it with your mind, which is what Reiki does, it creates a more sturdy connection.
Yeah.
You're aware of things that aren't quite right. And I like using it I'm sensitive to gluten. So I can immediately, now that I've gotten better, go, ooh, I think I ate something maybe I shouldn't have.
Right. Yes. Okay.
And so you just work that way.
Okay.
What about pain relief, Riki? Could this help with pain relief?
Gosh. So Riki did something really silly last week, and I managed to save my coffee, but in the process of doing that, I sprained my ankle.
Oh, no.
So I immediately applied Reiki, and the pain went away.
Okay.
So what can I tell you? Yes, it works.
Yes. So what is Reiki?
It's life.
How do you perform it on somebody, I guess?
So you go through a training, and what you're doing is you're opening up your receptibility to the life energy that's all around us.
Okay.
So my master kind of envisioned it this way. We all have a straw that's attached to our energy. Mm-hmm. Going through the Reiki process, you end up with more straws.
Okay.
You draw upon other people's energy?
Nope. It just creates more within you so that you are able to, you're the facilitator, you're the channeler, to give them more oomph.
Okay. That's awesome.
Does that make sense?
I know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see what else. So it improves self-care, deep relaxation, emotional balance.
Energizing your body.
Energizing your body. And what I like about this particular modality and technique is it's a complementary support. So it's not replacing the doctors. It's not replacing any medical diagnosis. It's there to give you support. Imagine if we're dealing with cancer, can I give them a sense of peace and calm? Yes, Reiki will do that. I don't do it, but the Reiki can do that if that is their intent for the session.
Okay. And I see that it shows personal growth as one of the benefits as well, which I feel like comes hand in hand with just being more aware of, like you said, with the gluten. Knowing that, I probably ate something. You're more in tune with your own body?
Exactly.
Okay.
And so anyone that's looking to grow their health journey, Reiki would be a logical step, because the first Reiki 1 certification is how can I apply it to me?
Yeah. Okay.
But most of us have families, so why stop there?
Right.
This is where the Reiki 2 certification comes in, because it allows you and gives you more education on how to use it with family members. You can even use it on pets, because I've used it on my dog.
Oh, that's cool.
So
I was just going to mention the fact that another one of the benefits is how to help pets.
That's really cool.
So imagine if they're dealing with something, and I've done the digestive one, to be able to give them that extra support.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, what else here?
Well, and I saw here that it helps with your immune system, and inner peace. All of this is a very calming effect that Reiki is going to do to help you out, correct?
Correct. Now, keep in mind, Reiki does what Reiki knows it's going to do, and everyone experiences it differently. So what I say you might experience may not be what you experience.
Right.
When I've worked on my daughter, she feels the heat immediately.
Okay.
Others go, oh, I just feel so relaxed. So it's, again, Reiki knows what Reiki needs to do.
Okay. I'm intrigued. I want to see it like performed or done.
Well, we could do it in the second half if you want some Reiki for her to do on you in the second half. That's a possibility too.
The challenge with that is it's really quiet.
Oh, okay. That might not work then.
Okay. Dang it.
Now, you had mentioned to me at one point that typically that's a hands-on experience.
Correct.
But energy can be transferred even if you're not with the same person.
That's what's unique about the Holy Fire, because in the second course of certification, you learn a distance symbol, a Japanese kanji, that does kind of like that wrinkle in time concept, where it shrinks it so that no matter where they are. I have a client in London, England. I give her Reiki.
Okay.
And so it does that, and she feels the exact same thing. Of course, I have to use an avatar.
Okay. I was wondering what our little sloth friend was doing.
So what do you use the avatar for, Riki?
So this is where I place my hands.
Okay, as if it was her.
Correct.
Okay.
I can use a picture.
This becomes the person that you're dealing with.
Correct. And when I do it on Zoom, if they want to have a Zoom, I'm using the screen.
Okay. Interesting. That's really awesome.
Oh, it is. So maybe that is something we could try, and then you can comment on
Yes.
it.
That's cool. Okay.
So is this making a little bit more sense now? What Reiki is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, energy transference. Would that be a good phrase?
Yes. So we're tapping into the universal field. I'm channeling it, facilitating it out through my hands to whoever is needing it. And of course, we do set our intent, because that's the most important part. And I go through a cleansing so that I don't have any negative energy in myself. And there's a couple meditations that I use that I share with my clients so that they're able to be in that space also.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool.
When you do this, do you ever play some of that frequency music?
Oh my gosh, yes, I do.
Just having this conversation in the car with my kids, and how a lot of musicians that are in tune with these things, the way that they make music, they implement those heightening frequencies in their music. So that's why you kind of get those goosebumps, like, oh, I love this song. Kind of like Coldplay. A lot of his music has those higher frequencies.
And there's a lot of information out there on those frequencies. Yeah. When I'm doing the Reiki, I found that there is a bowl and a kind of a humming that the monks do.
Yeah.
And it's called a Reiki timer. And so it helps me keep track of the time. There's other ones with birds and water, but that one just resonates with me.
Yeah. The different sizes.
Yes.
Because
cool. There's a lot. Yes, because there's a lot of sound healing benefits out there.
Okay.
Well, and the reality is that we know light has a frequency. We know sound has a frequency.
So does earth.
And we know we talked about the fact that grass and trees have a frequency. All energy has a frequency.
Yes.
It's a matter of, can you transfer that energy from you to someone else?
And the positive energy.
Yeah.
And it's all positive.
Yes. Okay. Do you have any success stories that are just been?
Yes. So recently, I had a client come, and they were dealing with a tightness in their chest. And so I did a little bit of root cause coaching, because that's also something that I'm able to do. When we decided there was an event that occurred that just tightened the muscles up around her heart, and she wanted to release that. So that's what we focused on for the 21 minutes. And when she was done, she says, oh my gosh, it went within like the first 5 minutes. And she felt it just leave.
Yeah.
Well, I still kept going because I didn't know that's what occurred. And
Right.
she just said, I just had this such peaceful ambiance all around me. And I said, well, that's real interesting, because I was wrapping you in a blanket of love.
That's cool.
And I just go with what my intuition says
Yeah.
that they need.
Yeah.
And sometimes an essential oil will come up from my intuition, and then we'll look up the emotional connection, and she'll, oh, I have that oil, I know what I need to do. So it's great to be able to do that too.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. I'm very intrigued. I'm interested.
Is there a cadence in your voice that you use when you're dealing with a client like this to help calm them down?
Yeah.
So I do have a meditative voice, and so I lower it. I'm slower. I have verbiage that I like using. You can kind of hear the change.
Yes.
So that they're feeling the warmth and love that I'm putting into the words, so that as they're going, and there's a little bit of a journey that I take them on through this meditative, soft voice.
Yeah.
So that they're ready for the Reiki.
Okay. All right.
Some would call that ASMR voice.
ASMR voice. Okay. Well, I think the real key here is that you've got to get your body, your mind, your spirit calmed down enough to experience what you're talking about, right?
And this is where my little tagline is connecting mind, body, and I chose the word soul instead of spirit, because I feel that's more encompassing, because I feel like the spirit is within our soul. And that's kind of what I want to do, is I want to connect every individual that I can that wants my services to be able to connect themselves in a more natural way.
Yeah. Okay, I think everybody could benefit from this. Truly.
Yeah. So what other questions do you have, Amanda?
I guess, is it something that you continue to do to stay in that state of mind? Or like, do you do it like once a month? Is it just a few treatments and then you're done? Or how does that work?
It's as needed.
Okay.
As a Reiki master, I do it every day.
Okay.
I actually live what is called the Reiki life. So part of my morning routine is connecting so that if someone needs Reiki, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And you may not know this, but because of that distance symbol, I can Reiki things in the future.
Okay.
So I literally Reiki this engagement that we have here so that it would be productive and give out the tone and feeling that we wanted people to receive.
Okay. What do you love most about doing it?
That I can. I didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
And to be able to offer this kind of support to people, and especially with kicking cancer,
Yeah.
it's complementary to whatever that they're going through. And so if they're navigating through cancer, it's not going to treat, it's not going to cure, but I can reduce that anxiety and that fear. I could restore the energy. My sister has let me use this once because she was feeling really fatigued from her cancer journey. And I can create moments of peace. And in doing that, again, they have to be receptive. You have to ask them.
Yeah.
Because some people they have a myth of that it's a religion when it isn't.
Right. What are some obstacles that you've had to overcome or things that you thought it was going to be but were not?
Actually, it's the myths.
Yeah.
Because most people that I engage with are Christians, as am myself. And in my research, it's like one of the first Reiki masters was a Catholic nun.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, okay, there isn't this disconnect. It's energy.
Yeah.
And so not having it be a religion, it's just that energy healing. I can work with anyone.
Okay. And when you work with them, do you have an office? Do you guys meet at the client's house, or how does that work?
I can do all the above.
All the above. I love it.
It just depends what they want. I prefer the distance if I don't know them.
Yeah.
But if I've created a connection with them, like either of you, I'd be happy to go where you needed me to be. Because when I practice it, I'm not touching. It's just
above. Okay.
And now, if it's my children, that's a different story.
Right. Okay.
And I do have to say, when I've done Reiki circles, my granddaughters fall asleep.
Okay. So you can do it with touch.
Yes.
And you could do it with not touching, and then you can do it long distance as well.
Correct.
So there's really no limitation to this.
That's correct.
Yeah,
That's
one of the
crazy.
first semi-sessions of Reiki I got was actually through Zoom. So obviously we're not in person together.
Right.
And it was a very definite change in the pace of their voice, the words they were choosing, and it wasn't hypnotic, but it had a very relaxing feeling to it. And they were actually very, very talented as a Reiki master themselves.
Okay. Do you have a website or anything where somebody could find you to utilize your services?
I do. It's called naturally-refreshing.com.
Okay.
Because not only do I do the Reiki, I also do a more advanced form of energy healing called somatic coaching.
Okay. This has got to be such a feel good for you too, because you get to heal yourself and others without even having to be in the same room.
Yes.
That's pretty powerful.
It is. And that's where I'm trying to encourage people to take the Reiki 1 and 2 certification, because imagine having that power yourself.
Yeah.
It gives me goosebumps.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Because all I'm really offering them when they have a session with me is just that gift of presence. I hold space for them with lots of love. But imagine having more control.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
When we all like more control.
Yeah, I love that the lady, she was like, I just felt so comfortable and good, and you were wrapping her in this blanket of love. For some reason, that's just sticking with me. It's just, that's really cool and really special, and healing, obviously. So that's awesome.
So yes.
Yeah, when we come back in the second half, I want to get into some of the somatic coaching that you were talking about, and really kind of that effect that comes from this. And then there's another thing that Ricky's going to talk about that's called your chakras.
Okay.
Because it's also part of the Reiki if someone is knowledgeable on their chakras.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break. But before we do, I want to shout out Odd Mo's Pizza. If you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see their website behind me here, and it is absolutely amazing. They've got different salads, pastas, wings, pizzas, desserts. Odd Mo's Pizza is so much more than just pizza, and it's healthy, fresh ingredients. And I love that they have gluten-free cauliflower crust. They've got wheat crust. They've got so many different options of sauces. They've got vegan cheese. I mean, they've got it all. So go check out Odd Mo's for lunch today. All right, we'll be right back, you guys. Stay tuned.